What's going on, YouTube? It is T90 Official, and I am back with another Fatslob episode. Believe it or not, the guy who's been playing Black Forest Vikings 1v1s for 15 years is still doing it. He hasn't changed it up. No Arabia, no Forest, nothing, just Black Forest, and he is here in the blue. And I'm casting this with Capture Age, which makes this the first official casting of any legend using Capture Age. Really excited to see what Fatslob's Black Forest magic is like with this awesome tool. If you happen to miss it in one of my more recent videos, I talked a little bit about what the future of Capture Age is like, where it came from, and I spoke with the Capture Age developers. But before we're going to have plenty of time to talk about that. So before we get started here, Fatslob is in the blue, playing as the Vikings, and immediately at the start went out for his Palisade walls. Good wall-off position for him. And he is up against the challenger, Michaelinho, who I did not tell I'm casting this, but he's actually a person who's been subscribed to my Twitch stream for over a year. So I would consider this guy a longtime follower and regular of my content. And I'm sure he's seen the videos before. I'm sure he's heard the jokes. And I guess he wanted a taste of the legend. So he's going to challenge him today. The map is Black Forest. I guess if you haven't seen the previous episodes of Fatslob, Fatslob only plays Black Forest, only with Vikings, and he plays with the old data set. Onagers cannot cut trees. So back to the whole Capture Age thing. I will explain the whole UI here for those who haven't seen it yet. But this is the official 1v1 version of Capture Age that I will be able to use for all my content now. There, of course, might be some updates to it or changes to it over the course of time. And I'll also have a version for 2v2s. The Capture Age team does not have a version for 3v3s and 4v4s or even community games yet, but that is something that they'll be working on. So I'm excited because I had this for Hidden Cup 2. Hidden Cup 2 was probably some of the best content that I pushed out ever, and it brought a lot of new people to the Age of Empires 2 community, and then it kind of got yanked away and I wasn't able to use it. But it's back. So you're going to see this on a couple other videos I'll have over the next week, but Capture Age does show us just how many resources are on the map. So there's under 1 million wood on the map. In terms of natural food source, we have a little over 6,000 food. A little over 7,000 stone is on this map, and then 28,800 gold. I think it's probably a wise decision to point out the gold positions. It's not going to be as important as your normal game because there's not going to be a lot of pressure here, believe it or not, with all these walls. But I will at least show the distribution of the extra resources, which I think is always important. Main gold, second gold, and then third gold for Fatslob. He always plays on Explored, so he will know that there's this gold here. Kind of sucks for him that he can't take that immediately, but he could always place a lumber camp there and chop his way through. There is a 3-tile gold for Fatslob here and a 3-tile stone. Those are extra resources. The other 4 tiles and 7-tile golds, those are resources that you start with. There's always 2 extra 3-tile golds on each map, and you'll see the other one is over here for Michaelinho. So that's the fairest distribution of a Fatslob game I've probably seen. Even this gold is almost walled in for him, or treed in, so to speak, but he could go through there, I guess, if he wanted to for now. The other differences would be the relics, and you see one relic is here for red, the other relic is here. And so there's a third here too. So I guess he has 3 and then Fatslob has 2, you would assume. Yep, he has 2 over on this right-hand side. So in every Fatslob episode that I have had, we have seen a different version of Fatslob. The very first one, he was very passive, and Fatslob himself commented on that video and said, hey, well, sorry, he didn't comment on the video, but he messaged me and I put it on a comment as on the video. And he said, I wish you would have shown a game where I actually fight. I guess he didn't want to give people the idea that all he did was sit behind his walls and bait his opponent. In some other episodes, we got to see him doing just that again, or even being more aggressive. He likes to go for his berserks and scorpions and onagers. And honestly, his unit control and his unit composition was very strong. This episode is going to show you a lot of the same. But it's also going to show you something different. And it's going to show YouTube how Fatslob reacts when someone attempts what people have said they should do in YouTube comments. A lot of people have said that they should try and cut through the trees to attack Fatslob. Well, at some point in this game, it's going to happen, and you'll get to see how he reacts to that and if he's able to hold. I believe I've uploaded a loss of his before to YouTube, so it's not as if I painted it as if he's invincible, but don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. I might have only uploaded his wins. Either way, no spoilers on this, and we'll cast this game. So this is one of many videos that I'll be recording before about 5 days away from my stream. I know a lot of you viewers don't even watch my stream at all, so it won't affect you much. But for the people who frequent my live stream where I'm casting games from experts to community games, I don't like to be away from that for very long. Twitch is a main source of my revenue as a full-time streamer, so it makes sense that since it's kind of like my own business, I wouldn't want to be away from that business for too long. But honestly, I just hate being away from it from a momentum standpoint, because there's a lot of people who do enjoy stopping by, and I really hate to know that people are stopping by to watch Age and I'm not there. So I will be back soon, all of you guys, but I did promise I'd have a lot of cool YouTube stuff. And honestly, I will have more cool YouTube videos in the future. It's hard for me to juggle streams and also juggle, YouTube uploads, but I'm at the point now where I can have some people work on some things and I can really pursue some cool projects and ideas that I've been wanting to do for a while, on top of still maintaining my streams. So, exciting stuff. I don't think that we're really on course for my goal. And my goal was to hit 200,000 YouTube subs by the end of the year. We're pretty far away from that. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy either way, but we'll see. I'm still going to work hard, and regardless of if we gain 1 sub over the next 6 months or 100,000 subs, I'm going to make sure the content is spiced up for you guys. And of course, in the comments, leave any ideas you might have. I can't promise to read all the ideas or even test all the ideas out, but I will definitely get to seeing some of them and possibly use those for ideas for content. So I want to explain the Capture Age UI. First off, the Capture Age guys are going to be really pissed that it says missing there, but for some reason, since we're doing the old dataset, Capture Age doesn't seem to pick up that this is the Viking civilization. But you can see the Berserk there that tells you their civ. So those are the first things. The second number you see, this number right here, that is the total oh, sorry, that's not the total population. That is the total villagers. All right, so it's 25 villagers for both of them right now. The second number would be the military. Both players should have a scout somewhere. Yep, there's a scout, and Fatslob's going to have one around here as well. There he is, already making sure that nothing cuts through here, I bet. So that's what the second number is, and then the number that shows up in parentheses every now and then, that is the Idleville number. Oh, that's pretty important to see. During fights and during raids, you sometimes can't realize just how big the idle time is, and that number shows you there. This number here is the population. That's pretty self-explanatory, but that's where you'll find the pop. And then the resource distribution, or not the distribution, but the resource amount that players have in the bank is here. And then there's the KD. Apart from that, you will see at the bottom right of the minimap. Again, you can see how many villagers the players have there, but that also includes other units. So we'll be able to see just how many scorpions, berserks, rams players will have as the game goes on. And then you have the upgrades at the bottom right. And you can see that Michaelinho is on his way to Castle Age. He has his double bit axe tech, so he's ahead of the eco upgrades. And this is the norm with Fatslob games. Players tend to have better build orders. They tend to be more solid overall, at least in the early stages. At Fatslob, it takes him some time to get to Castle Age, but he's on his way up now. And if you missed it, he built a tower here. And he's stonewalling already, so this is typical Fatslob, man. He'll stonewall and tower. Just to point this out, Red has placed some palisade walls here. Fatslob can't see that. When we go to Fatslob's point of view, we can't see it, but Red did this. It's a bit of a trick. It's not a bug, it's a feature. But if you place palisade walls somewhere, just the foundation, you can see over that. Now, there can't be anything there when you place that, because otherwise it won't let you build. But he just wanted to know, I guess, if Fatslob was on stone. So he put that there a while ago, and Fatslob always takes advantage of that in the Imperial Age. It's like free scouting. Right now, if he wanted to, Fatslob, he could he could place palisade walls all over here, and he could see what was there. It looks really weird, but it gives you vision, so it's fine. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use hundreds of wood to place palisades now, but maybe when he has tens and thousands of resources, or tens and 20s and 30s of thousands of resources. That sentence didn't make any sense. What's going on with me right now? Coffee's going on with me. This is fine. Geez, so what do I talk about? What do we talk about next? I gotta slow down. Geez, there's a second town center for red. Oh, and there's also an extra page I can go to on the bottom left. You can see the castle page here. The value is the cost of each unit, or each military force that is on the map. So as you can see, both having a scout, that's 80 food each. And then 0% gold value is what the value number means. I could stress that more in the future. Doesn't mean much now. Here you can see the amount of TCs and the amount of relics. So Michaelinho is on 2 TCs already. That would be removing the minimap, and I guess I just did idle military, so, and I just did idleville as well. So I'm just going through my hotkeys here, sorry about that. I like to stick to this screen, and since we can zoom out so much with Capture Age, it's pretty simple to see how many TCs are up. So some of you guys might have seen a red player playing community games before, actually. So some people might be going into this with a little bit of knowledge as to how he might play. What's this farm? Tell me this is a bug. Tell me that's a bug, man. Don't tell me I'm rubbing off on you. Zoom in to inspect. That's a T90 farm, for sure. It has all the signs of one. Okay, is he building new farms or is that a bug? See, what makes me think this is a bug is I can't click it. Let's see if he places another farm if I can click it before the villager goes to build it. I think that's a bug. I don't want to ruin the guy's reputation. I'm not sure why that bug would appear. But I mean, maybe that farm's going to be there all game. I guess if it's bugged there, if he ever tries to build over that area, it should remove itself. But we'll find out. Here we have an outpost for red. Just wants to make sure that Fatslob might not be up to anything. Or just wants to be sure Fatslob's not up to something funky here. Oh, the other cool thing is I can adjust how big resources are in the minimap. So this isn't too important in a Black Forest game, but now you can see the extra golds and the relics if I toggle to this screen. But 3 town centers for red. He has more villagers, and he's pumping them out. He's doing a great job right now. Definitely learned from those T90 community games. And then Fatslob does this thing where he sends new villagers right here. He doesn't send them to a resource. Look at this. It is definitely better to make sure they are sent to a resource so they're working before you use them. This actually makes him work harder. But he's definitely learned from his farm problems we saw last time. Not that I'm one to judge. But I think in the most recent... Oh no! Fatslob! Why is there a gap there? Well, never mind. You know, I believe he did this last time. It's like he doesn't want the villagers to walk on the farms or something. That's not how the game works, but very kind of you to think about that. Don't want to tread on a man's livelihood. Don't want to walk through their farms, Fatslob. Oh my god. Is he going to leave that gap there the whole game? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Well, he made a siege workshop for Mangonels. He tends to play very defensive. So I don't think he's going to push much. Red also has its own siege workshop with Mangonels, and maybe this is just a response to seeing Fatslob has one. Good move to build the outposts. Next level logic from Fatslob would be to play the same way for 15 years so people think you're not going to attack, and then just delete your walls and send in the Mangonels and Knights or something. And okay, I think we have confirmed that whatever this was a bug, because Red built over it, so his reputation has been saved. Can you imagine the poor guy? I didn't tell him that I'll be uploading this. He'll probably just wake up for breakfast all groggy like, oh, T90 new video, Fatslob? Oh, cool, I played him. What? That's me? And then I start making fun of his farms. Oh, God. Yeah, so this one is an actual farm that he has placed. Because I can click it and it shows the HP. And he's on his way. Perfect. Perfect. So, this is interesting to me. Both players have their scouts here. I would kind of like to see players send a monk this way and try and convert the enemy scout. But I guess they both realize the situation. They know that that's a rather thin clump of trees, I guess. And that could be chopped easily. And since it is played on Explored, if someone was chopping the trees, you should be able to see that. Like this, for example. You would know that trees are being chopped there. Fatslob is still creating villagers out of this TC and sending them here idle. Instead of just setting the gather point on the wood line and then grabbing villagers from wood to build farms. It's really interesting. I think he's doing the same here. Like, that's so much extra. He has to click so much more because he not only needs to click to create the builds, but then he needs to get each vill every time and click them over. They're not working automatically. He's been playing the game for 15 years. Who am I to judge? He's on his way to the Imperial Age, having 61 villagers. Or make that 62, and it is 77 for red. Already getting fortified wall. Realizes that red might be thinking of pushing him. Also sees the score and might be thinking that red is stronger than him, which is definitely the case right now. Red is getting masonry, which is a weird tech to get, actually, because masonry doesn't really affect much right now. It'll give more HP to his buildings, but for a guy that hasn't even stonewalled, it's a surprise. Now, Fatslob tends to go with the same unit comp, and most people that lose to him do not try that same unit comp. They don't even try and match it. The unit comp is Elite Berserks, Heavy Scorpions, Onagers, Trebs. I don't think I've ever seen the man make a Scout. I don't think I've ever seen the man make a Knight. I think he only goes for those units. It's do or die with that. And his tower is about to die here. And there it goes. So, some pressure from red. And there's the castle for Michaelinho. He hasn't clicked up yet. It could be Michaelinho, by the way. I just want to say this for YouTube's sake. I've always called him Michaelinho for years. Michaelinho, now that I look at it, it makes a little bit more sense, but I like to stick to my mispronunciations. Wiser men would not do that, but that's what I do. Anyway, he's going for Arbalest. At least in Imp, he'll go for Arbalest. He has crossbow now. A 100 population versus 71. Fatslob is behind in the population. When have we seen this before? And he's still doing this with the villagers. It's just so fascinating to me that he's done that. This makes life so much more difficult. Fatslob, if you end up watching this video, because he has said in the past that he's watched them and he enjoys them, just click them. Click your TC to a tree, my friend. Makes life so much easier. So what do you do when you play Fatslob? If you try and play his game and wait him out, he's probably going to bait you into attacking him. Another thing you could do is, especially if you have extra relics and extra golds to spare, which red is going to, why not try and cut through the trees and go on a raid? If Fatslob already struggles a little bit, he's more like a common man, you know? He doesn't have that crazy high APM to fix idols all the time. Just another reason to not create idols by sending them out of your TC to do nothing, but, you know, I think the play is gotta be to switch it up a little bit. Fatslob is definitely expecting red to arrive here, and he's already researching Onager, just to sit behind his walls. Now maybe red is scared. He might be frightened to see that Fatslob is in the Imperial Age before him, so he's beginning to wall up himself now. So a little bit of Fatslob v Fatslob action. Question for you guys. Now, I don't know if this is a possibility, But what would your thoughts be on getting some pro players to try and play Fatslob? There's no Twitch chat here, so I can't get your response. But what I'm thinking is, I could ask, let's say MBL. I could say, hey MBL, will you play Fatslob? Because he plays Black Forest all the time. And I need to make a rule for MBL. MBL can't create villagers for the first however many minutes. Or MBL can't do this or can't do that. Or MBL has to kill Fatslob without the tools that Fatslob tends to use. So maybe he'd have to kill Fatslob with Rams, Cavalier, and Arbalest. I don't know. You know, we can experiment, toy around with some ideas, but let me know if you'd have interest in doing that. I don't know if Fatslob would allow people to play him that are higher rated. The fact that I got in was just because he knew it was me, I think. And I think he tends to put a rating range in his game, so people who are above 1700 can't join. But yeah, if you have interest or any ideas with that, that's another thing you can comment in the comments down below. There is 22,000 gold left on the map, guys. I think it started at 28k. And now we can zoom out with Capture A to just show you how freaking awesome Black Forest looks. It really is cool, man. You can zoom all the way out here. You can't hear the game anymore. I really want to test the limits here. Oh, that's actually as far as I can go. You know what? This kind of looks like a roller coaster tycoon park. The closer you get, the more you realize it's not, but that's what it reminds me of. I don't know why it reminds me of that. I haven't played that game in a long time. We'll zoom back in. That fast zoom makes me feel like I'm on a roller coaster, actually. But we'll just zoom back out again. I think that this distance is really nice for casting. Can still see what units are being made and can still see detail, but it's not too close. Because believe it or not, this is what I'd be casting with normally. Once you zoom out a little bit and then go back to Capture Edge, you're like, holy crap, or go back to normal game. Jeez, I feel like I see so little when I'm casting if I don't zoom out a little bit. So what is Fatslob making? He's making Heavy Scorpion. Heavy Scorpion, fantastic versus those Berserks. Fantastic versus a lot of things. And he tends to go for Heavy Scorpion, Onager, Berserk himself. Fatslob is at 107 population, and Red is doing much better. Red has 169 population. Nice. And a lot of that would be military, 54 military lead, and he has crossbows. Crossbows which only have Bodcanero, so they're Castle Age units, despite him being an imp. But I think he has the resources to get those upgrades and maybe start pushing here. Now, I didn't point this out when the research came in, but Fatslob knows his techs. He researched Siege Engineers, so he has +1 range to his Trebuchets and Onagers. That is not something that Red has researched, and unfortunately for Red, his castle is in Fatslob's Treb range. Fatslob has already killed the Treb, and I'm sure he'll try and kill the castle and more. This isn't the first time that I've seen someone lose their starting castle to Fatslob's Trebs. Like, everyone wants to build it on the front because they know that's an important area, but I think they build it too far forward, and he's just close enough to get there. At least, I think he was. He damaged the castle. He doesn't seem too concerned about it now. Unless that's him going for it as we speak. Yeah, there we go. He's going for the castle now. Yeah, so that's a castle that is pretty much wasted for Red. He's created a few Berserks. They're not elite. They don't have upgrades. They can't fight. They cannot fight because of the stone walls. So, no, Fatslob is actually the one who's pressuring right now. Is he deleting his walls and looking for a straight up engagement? No, he's not, but he's realized that he can take an advantage here. And Red, really? With all this population, he's not able to do much with it. And it's hurting me now. Get your Onagers out of here, man. Just save them for another day. This is not the place where you need your Trebuchets. He really needs, or not his Trebuchets, his Onagers. He really needs his own Trebs. He only has one castle now to produce from, and he didn't prioritize making the Trebs, so it's going to be a problem. Okay, what? I guess that trebuchet hit the onager. Perfect. Scout's still sitting over here. I wonder if Red could convert this. I feel like he could convert that. And if Fatslob didn't run away, he could convert the Scout, run into Fatslob's base, and see what Fatslob might be up to. Not that he would need to know, but it would, you know, it could at least annoy Fatslob, freak him out a little bit. 7 kills and 1 death for Fatslob. Reminds me of a certain World Cup match, 7-1. Well, now it's 8-1, and you ruined it, Fatslob. Good start for Fatslob. And the units that he killed are all expensive units. Trebuchets, Onagers, and then 1 Berserk. His eco? It's really not pretty. Could he have built new lumber camps? Sure. Red's been refreshing lumber camps. Way more efficient for him. He has more resources, at least with wood and food. But Fatslob doesn't care. Fatslob uses experience and determination to get wins. And in this episode, as I said earlier, he's going to try something completely different. Well, okay, not completely different, but he will face something different. And it'll be good thinking from Red. We'll see if he can hold against it. I think one of the most exciting things about Fatslob, and honestly a lot of the legends that I've chosen for YouTube videos, these are people who don't do what they do for the fame. Blue Coffee, for example. Blue Coffee, I speak to that guy maybe once every 2 months. He'll stop by my stream, talk a little bit. I'll rig him into a game, and then that's it. He doesn't play that frequently in my community. It's just that when he shows up, he does legendary stuff. Fatslob, he doesn't even frequent YouTube and frequent Twitch as far as I know. I don't know if he's ever seen a stream, but we talk about him all the time. And you better bet he's online every day playing Black Forest. More and more people are playing him now because they know about him and they know where he is, and he's easy to find and always up for a game, always playing. But, you know, Fatslob doesn't do it for the views. He does it because it's who he is. And that's so legendary for me. It's so cool. And for the most part, he's a really nice guy when I do speak to him. He did say he liked the videos. But also, it kind of strikes me as a guy who just wants to do his thing and not have any conversations about what he did in a video. I will speak to him every now and then, and it's normally pretty short, and that's it. Thank you, Fatslob. It's so cool. And I think that he's possibly the most controversial legend ever. People either hate him or they love him. Some people are like, yeah, get a win any way you can. If they sign up to play with your rules, Fatslob, good for you, you know? Other people say, I don't care if he puts it in the game room. I don't care if he puts it there 50 times. Those settings are dumb. This guy's a noob. Like, people have some really strong opinions about how others play video games. Actually, I'm not one to judge, because I literally talk about others playing video games for a living. So, I have a lot of strong opinions as well anyway. But back to the point. You know, this is what he loves to do, and I think there's something special with that. He's getting iron casting now. If you look at his Berserk, it is elite. Still lacking some armor upgrades, but getting his attack upgrades. And he and Red researched Berserker Gang. And Berserker Gang regenerates HP on Berserks. So in a game that could go on for hours, it's a good tech to get. Fatslob is in no rush to get to 200 population, apparently. He's at 169 population. Nice. It's taken him a long time to get there. 49 minutes into this game. Certainly wasting no time getting the text, though. What's interesting to me is he actually has more text than Red does. Red still doesn't have chemistry, still doesn't have armor on his Arbalest. Doesn't even have elite Berserk yet. He's getting... Oh wait, he has chemistry. He's getting Bracer now, I guess. Yeah, he's just catching up a little bit. But Red has his trebuchets on attack ground. He knows what Fatslob does. He has these 2 trebuchets on the walls, and he has these trebuchets attack grounding this area, hoping that Fatslob might slip up and run into it. Which is really smart thinking, actually. They're firing over the walls. Don't ask me where they're getting the refills for these trebs. Where are the cannonballs coming from? Where are the trebuchet balls coming from? How are they lighting on fire? I have so many questions. And so little answers. Red built most of his houses over here. Oh, and this is where you'll start to see the idea he might be going for, guys. He has this one trebuchet chopping the trees. He's going for a flank maneuver. Now, he's not going to chop here. He's going to chop here, near the edge of the map. Fatslob might never expect this. Now, Fatslob, I actually don't know. Will he see that those trees are chopped? No, he won't. Well, he can see that they're chopped if a villager chops it. But if a trebuchet takes it down... Actually, I lied. I guess he does see a little bit of something. It's weird how that works. So if he's paying attention, that he'll at least know something's going on over here. Chainmail armor, murder holes, hoardings. All of these techs are coming in for Fatslob. His elite berserks just need the armor. The chainmail armor is the second armor upgrade from the Castle Age, and then the Imperial Age armor upgrade is all he's missing. But again, he has siege engineers, so he's 16 plus 1 range. And, oh, there is siege engineers for red. Okay, he's good. He just has less trebuchets. Fatslob is using his trebs versus trees? That's a funny sight. Does he want to go this way? Red might even consider cutting through. He has his berserks here. You know how risky it can be to run in against this. Red knows something's up. Okay, Fatslob is now cutting these trees. Maybe he wants to make this wider for his own trebs. Okay, so there are stables for red, so he might be considering light cav. I've seen a lot of players go for light cav when against Fatslob. The cool thing about how red's playing this, though, is that he's basically mirroring the style of Fatslob. I guess the difference here is that he's going for Arbalest, and Fatslob goes for Scorpions. And I like Arbalest more because they have a little bit more mobility. They're less clunky to control, but if units are funneling into a choke point and you had to choose one, you definitely would want to choose Scorpions. And 17 attack and pass-through damage versus 10 attack and no pass-through damage. And pass-through damage is the big thing with the Scorpions. And Fatslob is now getting Bodkin Arrow, Red's getting Siege Ram, Scale Mail Armor, and Forging. And if you happen to miss this when I've explained this during Hidden Cup, if I click one of these upgrades, it takes me to the building where it's upgrading. So, Cavalier here. Light Cav here. Siege Ram there. It's pretty cool. It's not always useful. In fact, it's rarely useful. That's useful if someone is researching a tech and a building's about to die. Like, the Imperial Age TC is always a big one. Oh boy, Fatslob's doing it, guys. He's going with the feature. It's not a bug. I said it at the start. He's placing palisade walls. He can only place palisade foundations where something isn't. Now, he loses out on that wood, and obviously he's never going to build that. But the idea is that he can now see anytime red... Well, that was funny. Red just deleted stuff. He can now see anytime red has units walking over this. Should it exist in the game? Probably not. But does it? It does. And Fatslob will take any advantage that he can get to win. Red did the same thing earlier, right? Just not to this extreme. So I can show you what this looks like from Fatslob's point of view from afar, as long as Red moves his units. There's an onager, yeah. So he doesn't know how many onagers are there, but he does know that there's got to be stuff here because he can't place the foundation if there's units there. 6,000 gold for Fatslob. I believe he sold a lot more food and a lot more wood than Red did. That's a huge deal. Now he's also placed some palisades here. And okay, both players are considering chopping through here with trebs. Yep, I think they're doing that now. Just gonna drink some water real quick. This is my third video in a row. And I already streamed 7 hours today. So bear with me as I drink some water if that's okay. Normal people would pace themselves, but not me. I had a rough 2 days, and I didn't get to split up the work I wanted to get done, so I'm pulling a 15-hour day today with content. Ooh, Reddit's getting guard tower. Is he making it here? That is a tower, right? I can't seem to click it. Oh, it's an outpost. Okay. I guess guard tower doesn't cost stone to research. I think it's just wood and food, so it doesn't hurt, but he doesn't have a single tower up. And I think it's about to go down, guys. I think Fatslob is considering fighting. This is what Red can see. He hasn't done the palisade trick yet. We'll see if he does it. He does not know what Fatslob has over here, so Fatslob knows what Red is going for the most part. There's a lot of mystery with this normally, but not for Fatslob. He at least knows that Red has onagers and berserks from what he's seen. Red doesn't know all that much, and remember, he cut this small little base up here, and every single stable is queued up currently with light cav. And Fatslob spotted this with an outpost. And now he's walling behind this, which is creative. And making a few siege workshops. So Fatslob tends to camp the walls with onagers and trebs. Maybe he'll do the same there. And maybe Red isn't ready to fight yet. He's going to make some more stone walls. So in a way, Red has Fatslob to Fatslob. Fatslob lost some of his walls. And Red's just building more. And Fatslob is taking down the trees to maybe fight. And Red's like, nope. Sorry, buddy. This is the way you choose to play. This is how I'm going to play it too. But seriously, Red is missing blacksmith upgrades. He still does not have full attack upgrades or defense upgrades in his berserks. Arbalests are fine. Onagers fine. The trebs are fine. But upgrade your berserks, my friend. That's a big deal. If you look at the bottom right, you can see which upgrades he researched last. So the last attack upgrade was just forging, which is the feudal age upgrade, and then the black furnace upgrade for Fatslob was the last one, and that's the imp upgrade. Same with the armor. Missing some crucial armor. I hope to see that come in for Red. Interesting to me that Bloodlines is down there. I think Bloodlines is just kind of a standard for capture age to show. Vikings do not get Bloodlines, so that's never going to be filled. So yeah, I get that these palisades are really annoying. I actually can't do anything about it as a spectator. It makes the minimap look weird. The only thing I can do is go to someone else's point of view. So I'm on Red's point of view, and Red has not done that. So if I'm on Red's Fog of War, it doesn't show it. So I think maybe we'll stay on Red's Fog of War for a little bit. His Arbalests are moving this way. I think he's just backing up. I don't think he's going for any big redirection. I think he's just backing up. Maybe expecting Fatslob to come in. He's backing up with his trebuchets. And Fatslob might be thinking about this. He's attacking the walls from Red. I don't think Red will be surprised by anything Fatslob has because he's watched my videos, because we've talked about it on streams. I've streamed it. I've made a ton of content, so he should know that Fatslob likes his scorpions and berserks. And like I said, his composition's close. Can Arbalest work? It definitely can. Just Fatslob would disagree. I think Red is spending a great deal of time paying attention to this area. That would be my guess. Because it's not easy. I guess he's not doing anything now, but it's not easy to try and cut through there like that. Okay, so Red sends his trebs and onagers in. Fatslob backs up a little bit. And now, ooh! Oh boy! Are we about to get over 10 Fatslob kills? Red is getting heated shot, which means his towers, which he does not have, will do more damage versus ships, which will not be made. But hey, it boosts his score by getting the tech, so it's totally worth it for the intimidation factor. Doink. Oh, never mind. I thought that was going to hit. Fatslob has 9 kills and 1 death. If he continues like this all game, I'll be impressed. Frickin' Trebor. Just Fatslob things, man. And Fatslob's like, oh, you want to play my game, huh? Well, my trebs are more accurate for whatever reason. And Red just backs up. Now, Fatslob just has more trebuchets. That's what it is. And now Red considers going back in. And he is getting his blacksmith upgrade now. The armor was the big one he was missing. Still needs the attack. But at least he's doing that. And, okay, he is using this treb. So he's one-shotting the trees. It'll take some time, but maybe, just maybe, if he splits Fatslob's attention and focus, Fatslob is considered a slower player. Fatslob might struggle. Will it work? Or will it happen? There is 0 gold and 0 stone left to collect on this map. At the start of the game, 750,000 of wood was left. I think it was 750,000 or something. 110,000 wood has been collected, which is a lot faster than I thought, but then again, I've been talking for a while. This is well past an hour in in-game time. But we're just getting started, folks. We are just getting started. The first hour of game time was just the advertisements for the main show. That's just the movie you're never going to watch. Alright? Just gave you some time to get the popcorn. Extra butter, of course. Because if you're not putting extra butter on your popcorn, who even are you? Not Fatslob, that's for sure. Maybe you're Skinny Slob. That's something that's not talked about enough. Fatslob, when creating his online username, felt like the best username to describe him was Fatslob. Oh my god. That makes me like the guy even more. He just... Everything about Fatslob just reeks. He owns who he is. You know? Am I out of weight? Am I a slob? Do I play Black Forest all day? Sure. I'm a Fatslob. I'm gonna tell the world that that's my name. His name isn't like Andrew 379 because there were 378 Andrews that took his name before. No, it's Fatslob. He owns it. Let's go. Lots of blue on this map. Remember, Fatslob can see what units are there. Again, it looks really weird when I do this, so I'll probably avoid staying on Fatslob's point of view very long. I'll stay on Red's point of view and his fog of war. It looks pretty freaking sweet. Holy crap, to see these units out of the fog, especially when you zoom out, it is awesome. But there's a battlefield now. The walls are going down, slowly but surely, and the players are considering fighting. However, Red still doesn't have his blacksmith techs. If this is anything about my content, it's that I don't talk about getting your blacksmith techs enough. So guys, learn from Red's mistake. Please max out on your blacksmith techs. Even if you don't know a lot about the game, just check. You know, just before you go into a fight, just check the blacksmith. Are there still techs there to be researched? Okay, cool. Research them. He got heated shot, which is a tech that affects towers versus boats. There are no towers and no boats here, so I guess he's checking the university at least. The Fatslob has his berserks. He has 94 military to be exact. It is 108 military for Red, and Red is creeping forward. Really considering a push right now. I wonder just how nervous Red might be. I'm sure he would be nervous if he knew I was watching, but I wonder how nervous he is. Well, she might have been nervous. She just died. But yeah, when you wait this long to fight a legend like Fatslob, how much are you second guessing your decisions going into the fight? Should I send my onagers first? Should I send my berserks? Well, he sends the onagers and he goes in after the trebuchets. He's bound to kill a few trebs. He's killed a few, and the berserks are running to their deaths right into the arbalest fire. But in terms of gold lost, I want to say that this was fairly even. Oh my god! Almost some friendly fire. Red has sacrificed the villagers. It's actually nice. It acts as a scout for him. And now he should know that he should never send in his berserks in a million years. If he sees that many scorpions, you should never send in your berserks. Look at the HP on the armies here. 4,000 HP. If you look to the bottom right for Fatslob's army. Okay, someone just subbed to my Twitch channel and you heard Forest nothing. But this is Black Forest. Alright, this is Fatslob time. Thank you to whoever that was. And just like that, we have over 100 kills in the game. I want to say Fatslob came out on top there, but obviously both players still have resources. And Red wants to get through here. I believe he's chopped through. He's making light cav. Every time he loses a unit, more units spawn, and these stables are queued up. He wants to make more, and at this point, he has to realize that Fatslob has probably noticed this because of the outpost. But if he wasn't sure, this will tell him. There's some stone walls there. It's actually quite stressful as a caster to have all this blue on the minimap, because I just looked at the minimap and thought, whoa! We got another one, boys! Somebody else subbed to the stream. Who is it? The Last Human. Oh my god. Okay, so Onion Duck was the first one for 6 months. Onion Duck, thank you for the 6 months. Onion Duck is in the YouTube comments a lot. And he's gifted so many subs to my stream. Well, thank you. And Last Human, thank you for the Prime sub. Did you guys know you can subscribe to my Twitch for free with Amazon Prime subscription? It's free for you. Still supports the stream. Thanks, guys. So, I promise I did not plan that little sellout, okay? It was on them. I had to thank them. That's the only reason I did it. Ah, man, these onagers are scaring me. It's stressing me out. It honestly is. They're all clumped up. I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for Fatslob to get a big onager shot. I'm waiting for Fatslob to use berserks to kill it. Anything. At the same time, Fatslob does have a lot of scorpions here, but the way that he has his unit grouped makes me think that it's almost impossible to ever flatten these scorpions. 41 kills, make that 42 for Red, and 79 deaths for him. So not the strongest start, but there's a lot of time left in this game. Still doesn't have his berserk upgrades, and he tried to fight with him earlier. It hurts. It does hurt. And I think it reflects poorly on me as a YouTuber, because I've talked about it for years. Get your upgrades. Oh, upgrade isn't going to help that. He just got nailed in the back. Oh man, they can't even watch. This is like an execution here. This is like some Game of Thrones style nonsense. Instead of Dracarys, it's whatever. The Trebs are on fire. It's kind of like a dragon. Red's going in! Red's going in! Now, Fatslob, this is his point of view. He hasn't reacted at all. He's so focused on the Dracarys that the light cav running into his economy hasn't even dawned on him. Now, this was the strategy. This is what I had said, and YouTubers had said that you should try versus Fatslob. Split his focus. He's not the fastest player. What will he do then? Now, Fatslob's main force hasn't moved at all. It's still just executing these berserks. And the light cav, unfortunately, they're not very strong as Vikings. I think it's the big reason why Fatslob decided to use Vikings for these games 15 years ago. Because the strongest options are the options that Fatslob tends to go with. Light cav, if someone tries to deviate from the plan, is not going to do much. And all that really did was kill Fatslob's eco a little bit and give him more pop space for military. Fatslob has 5,000 gold, he has 8,000 food, and he has 39,000 wood. And oh my god, the fight comes in with the onagers. So far, seems close to 50-50 if you ask me. Remember, Red's going into this fight with more onagers. If you look to the bottom right, right here, you will see just how many onagers are there for both players, and then how many units are queued up. And Red has a lot of units queued up. Mainly light cav, 48 light cav queued up, 23 arbalests queued up, even onagers. Fatslob doesn't really have a lot. He'll just get by with what he has. When you have units queued up, you're going to stay around 200 population, which is the cap. Interesting to me how the the trebuchets, the balls like kind of disappear when they fire. Did you guys notice that? It's not the first time. I'm sure Capture Rage will see that. It's not a big deal. Oh, broken. We're not going to use Capture Rage anymore, but that is weird. Oh. Well, anyways, that's more things for Capture Rage to work on, I guess. Oh no! Red, what are you doing, man? Oh god, well, if you're gonna fight like that, please do not make Arbalest. Holy crap, that was a slaughter. See, Fatslob's just making the fights look easy. I also read with how he's taking the fights, it's making Fatslob look very good as well. It's a mix of the two, but Fatslob hasn't taken what I would consider a bad fight. Not yet. I do like the light cav idea, and I think it's something that Fatslob wasn't expecting, but Fatslob's berserks, they're going to clean those up, and also, you have to remember, he has 42,000 wood. He has resources. If you kill all of his villagers, he'd be fine. At least for a little while. So, the problem is this. If you want to have a real force to attack Fatslob, and I mean siege and berserks, if you want to have a real army, you're going to take away from the population you have in the center. And I think while you try and mass population on the right-hand side, Fatslob is just going to roll you. He's obviously aware of what Red is up to. He can see what Red has. You would just roll right through him. Now, wood update, we are below 600,000 wood. I don't think we're going to run out of wood in this game, but wouldn't surprise me. Because it is a Fatslob game. Red stepped up to the plate to face the legend. He saw that 1v1 BF lobby. He saw the banned users list in the game room. He like types it in the game room. I don't think he has a notepad at home, but because he never changes his information in his game room, every time he gets back online on Boobly, it has the users that he doesn't want to play again. And this also implies that Fatslob doesn't know that there's an ignore list on Boobly. Adding someone to your ignore list means they can't join your lobbies ever. Instead, he adds it to the game room. It's like a wall of shame. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. Red's getting Iron Casting 1 hour and 27 minutes into the game. But yeah, anyways, that's another thing about Fatslob. His profile says he's like 7 years old or something. And he did say that he's not quite as old as his profile suggests. It's more fun to speculate. I almost don't want to know. If I found out Fatslob was like 28 and worked a desk job, if I started finding out all these details about him, I would not be as interested. I like the mystery. And all the fights! You've got to be kidding me! Well, Fatslob has so much more here. His units have so much more HP. He has 5,000 HP. Now, you mix in Red's onagers, that becomes a different story. And the positioning of his onagers might not be bad here. There's not any berserks for Fatslob. Fatslob can't send the berserks out front. It looks like his units are wedged in. So Fatslob, he's retreating now. He switches the positioning of his units. He's considering sending in the berserks, and he's backing his scorpions up, and that's the key for him. The reason he can never be pushed is because he goes for the scorpions. Well, back to Red's point of view so we can remove those awful palisades. I'm sorry about that, guys. Again, if I could do something, I would. The berserks go in. Fatslob's killing a few onagers, but after all of this, I think Red could consider continuing a push here. Depends on the reinforcements, right? And he's creating a lot of light cav on this side to raid. Fatslob has Idlevilles, he has berserks just patrolling. Well, they're not even patrolling, they're just standing here. So they'll actually catch any light cav as they try and do this. I'm not sure if this was worth it for Red or not. Might be worth it for the distraction, but certainly hasn't increased his KD at all. Beautiful micro there from him, though, to dodge with the onagers. Oh, and the attack round! There we go! There we go, Red! That guy subs to my stream. I know him. I know that guy. I would love to see him patrol his Arbalest, and I believe he's going for the safer option, which is to leave his Arbalest on stand grounds. But I would really like to see him patrol this and maybe try and keep an eye on it. It might be too much for him to handle because sometimes you'll patrol your Arbs into siege. But I think that the Arbalest are not doing enough for him because half the time they're not even firing. Playing Fatslob is like a micro training scenario, honestly. Unfortunately, you don't get to use units that you use frequently in other games, but it is kind of like micro training. Oh, that Berserk, the real MVP. Putting his life on the line for his friends, killed the Onager. So, fun fact, I really don't know how many people watch all my videos the whole way through, so you guys have probably missed a bunch of tidbits if you skipped. But my Twitch channel was created in June of 2015, and I'm currently recording this in June of 2019. I think my YouTube channel was created and my first upload was near the end of June. That's crazy to me, that my content has only been in my life for 4 years. I think the first year didn't really go anywhere. Again, I never expected it to. But I want to say that we were at 2,000 to 3,000 YouTube subs near the end of 2016. Yeah, I think that sounds right. Then it was September of 2017, whenever that big Force Nothing video came out. That was where things really started to grow, both on Twitch and YouTube. But only 4 years, guys. Unfortunately, I don't have any big things planned. I don't have a thank you for 4 years of content video. But I just wanted to bring that up because that's pretty awesome. And thank you to everyone, whether you came in then, which is a small group of you, or came in over this long journey. It's pretty awesome to see so many people watching Age of Empires 2. I always said that I wish that more people liked Age. I always said that I wish the community was bigger and that more people would appreciate this beautiful game. And my friends and my family even said that it was an old game and that good luck, basically. Good luck, even before I started making content. Well, John, look what I did. Or at least I helped. I helped to get it here, and I'm proud. And Red is pushing forward, baby. I don't know who I should fanboy over the most. My supporter, my loyal subscriber, or Fatslob, the legend. Fatslob went to the right and is cleaning up the stable, so he's sick of this, and this is probably why Red can afford to go forward. That said, though, Fatslob has 111 military, and it's 53 military for Red, so he's really not doing a good job of producing his units. In fact, he's kind of low on gold. Not a great sign. Fatslob definitely sold more wood and sold more food earlier, and that gave him more gold then. The prices weren't great after a while. You're only getting 14 gold per 100 resource sold, but it's still something. And no, man! Oh, that hurts to see. You know, I'm actually going to turn the HP bars on to normal HP bars until they go back into a fight, because with Red, it can be a bit confusing. And my apologies for not mentioning that earlier. That is something I probably should have talked about. Fatslob is cleaning up the sneak base. Red felt like that was something he could do against Fatslob and have success with, and no, it didn't work at all. And now he's built a gate here, so he can still run in. That's cute. He can still run in, but now Fatslob can't get through. Red is opting for a lot of onagers. Is getting Blast Furnace now. Maybe he was scratching his head like, man, what is going wrong here? Why am I not winning these fights, man? And then he checked the tech tree. He's like, oh, Vikings get Black Forest. Or, not Black Forest. If they're Fatslob, they get Black Forest, but Blast Furnace. Oh, what a day it's been. I don't know if Red is finished on this right-hand side. Well, why not maybe go through here? I don't know. It's obvious to me he needs to send Berserks. He can't send Light Cav. Light Cav are potato. They are a big old rotten potato, man. I've seen so many players try and go for Light Cav. And it makes sense in that it doesn't cost gold. But when you boom up like this, when you have all this time, you should be able to afford to go with only gold units. Just look at Fatslob. That's all he ever makes. Oh! Oh no! Red is doing the trick too! Oh, well, doesn't this minimap just look beautiful? All these palisades. Well, now he knows what Fatslob has, and that's the idea. So he can't build palisade foundations there. I wonder if since there's so much downtime in between the fights, if he checks the videos. That's not a bad idea. If you see Fatslob hosting, watch a few videos before, just skim through it to see what Fatslob might be doing. Oh no! Fatslob is doing the same thing. The only reason his villagers are going forward, those are builders, and he was placing more palisades. They're both doing it. Oh god, this looks so ugly. Way to ruin a YouTube thumbnail, guys. Guess we're not uploading this to YouTube. We'll have to have someone scrub this out of the video. Ah. Well, I can't avoid it now. If I'm on Fatslob's point of view, I see his palisades. If I'm on Red's point of view, I see his palisades. Oh, I might be able to fix this. Aha! We have to use the line of sight of Gaia. Well, we can only see what the birds can see. But it's something. It looks beautiful. I will admit, this looks beautiful. We can even follow the birds if we want. Ugh. There he goes. I wonder what the birds are thinking right now. This is a lot more peaceful, and a lot less cluttery, and a lot less headache-inducing. But, unfortunately, unless the birds are flying over the fight, I can't really show it, so... I guess just appreciate how competitive these guys are being with the game and how serious they're taking it, alright? And Red is using a treb to cut these trees on this side, so he's not done. He really thinks that this strategy is going to work. I always say that the sign of a good player is a player who makes the other person look like they're making bad decisions. But the sign of a good player is a player who makes the others look bad. Fatslob's composition constantly makes his opponents look bad or silly for their choices. I mean, I don't want to praise the guy too much because honestly, all he had to do was send Berserks over here. It's not like he needed fantastic micro, but he's rock solid. He definitely is rock solid. You don't see him getting attacked very often. Interesting to me that the relics are still seen as Gaia units. So the monasteries are visible? That's interesting. Never thought about that. Just goes to show you guys, you might have all the desirable wealth in the world, but it's not yours. It's still Gaia's. Okay, so they're shifting around a little bit, getting antsy. I heard Fatslob deleting villagers, so he's getting that population up with military. 126 military, and the better form of military for him. I'll go to Red's point of view. Red sees the scorpions are creeping forward. He sees the berserks, he sees the trebs, and he's rolling his own onager out here for a big boom. Got him! Oh, Fatslob sees it. Fatslob's not happy, and he kills it. It seems like Red should be able to send the onagers forward. But I think that's what Fatslob wants. In fact, is he luring them out? I'm pretty sure he just lured them out. He ran 2 berserks in, attracted all of the fire, and since these units are probably on attack stance, they chased. I think he did it on purpose. I think he did that to pull Red out of formation. He just did it again. This is either extreme hesitancy or planned. And I'm going to go with planned. Okay, so again, he sends berserks in here. It makes sense to converge on the onagers. And he sees most of the onagers are on the left-hand side. So, the rest of the berserks are going to the right. He has some scorpions in the group as well. What a fight this is, guys. Fatslob has grouped up his berserks with some scorpions, so they're moving at the pace of the scorpions. And wow, he just has so much more. He just has so much more military where this came from. It's insane. Look at what Fatslob has. try to look at what Fatslob has over his palisades. He sees this as well when he plays, by the way. So it kind of sucks for him too. But we're on Red's point of view now, and Red's just getting slaughtered. He's just getting slaughtered. Now, the vill count is different because Fatslob doesn't have many vills, but it's really the military count that matters. And it's the castles that matter. If you're going to rely on berserks, you need those castles. And if you think back, Red lost that castle early on in the game. That one was just given away. And now he doesn't have the defense here. Capture Age tells us he's creating more, but he's not creating more of the right things. He's creating more villagers, and he's creating more arbalest, while Fatslob is just creating the berserks. Now that said, Fatslob, from hero to zero, right? From 10 out of 10 to 0 out of 10, I guess he's just forgotten his trebs. He might have an idea that Red's about to run in here. Oh, this makes sense! So Red pretty much proved my point. I had said that if he tries to hit Fatslob's main eco with berserks, it would make his hold in the center weaker. I'm surprised. I thought Fatslob was going to push and kill those castles. He didn't. And this is Fatslob's point of view. Fatslob knows there's something over here. Ah! He knows that something's over here because he built the palisades there earlier. So it doesn't make him look crazy, does it? I bet you that's why he came back. Does he send a group of berserks to the right-hand side now? He does. Ah, interesting. Well, Fatslob, he has 81 military, which is slightly more than Red, but he is behind with the eco. That said, he still has so many resources in the bank. Oh my god, but if he loses these villagers, he's going to dip below 40. Holy crap, this is all of his wood eco. He actually doesn't have any wood, except for maybe a dozen lumberjacks there, 10 to be exact. Thanks, Capture Age. Well, maybe I'm giving Fatslob too much credit. I don't think he's reacted to this at all. He's losing so many villagers. What a play from Red. This is a very smart play. And now he can consider shifting forward because Fatslob has to run back. Yeah, this is good stuff. And sorry about the flicker there. That happens occasionally. Still not sure if that happens just for you guys or if that happens for me. I know it's weird and I should be able to see it if it happens on my screen. But because I have a second monitor right next to me that's recording this, I see a blink, and for some reason I can't be mindful enough to know which screen is blinking. It sounds dumb, but trust me, it's not that dumb. Or it is, but it's just the story of my life. Wow, Red has 30 more population than Fatslob, so Fatslob has really fallen behind now. He's down to 45 villagers, 9 of which are idle, and Red is about to push forward in the center more than he ever has this game. Fatslob doesn't have a lot of gold. He isn't really utilizing his scorpions here, and his berserks are going down. I think this is Red's game to lose now. Remember, he also has 3 relics. So he's had a little bit more of a gold trickle throughout this game than Fatslob. Man, if he just made berserks, though. He keeps thinking arbalest, and I get it. I really do get it, but I think berserks would be so huge. I know berserks die to scorpions, but if he were to just get enough in there, they have such high attack they would flatten the scorpions, no doubt in my mind. Well, Fatslob, guys. He has 100 military, but he only has 43 villagers. Does that matter all that much? It doesn't right now. If they continue to fight, it will matter because they'll have less food and less wood. Food being the big one for the berserks. He has a lot of military on the right-hand side, chasing down more units, I guess. Wow, that's a lot of berserks. And you know what? Red, he really hasn't been reinforcing. I thought this was the time, looking at the populations, but has not been reinforcing at all. It's a lot. There's a lot going on here. When you have to create units, you know, Fatslob might even play on single queue because he's such an old timer. He might toggle through all of his castles like this to produce. In fact, if you look, his castles are not producing evenly, so something tells me that he's probably playing single queue. So that makes it even harder to reinforce units. Basically what that is, for those who are wondering, on single queue, which is default on Voobly unless you change it, and a lot of people do now. On single queue, if you select all your castles, right-click a gather point, and then spam-click unit, it will only produce units out of one of those castles. It will not distribute it evenly throughout them all, which is what multi-queue is. Multi-queue, you get 5 castles, and then you click the unit 5 times, and then one produces out of each castle. So it produces faster with multi-queue. It's definitely more noob-friendly with multi-queue. And multi-queue is the standard. I think the only thing now is for Voobly users, they have to make it so it's default. Unfortunately, it's default single queue unless you change it. And while a lot of people do, some people, Fatslob, don't do that. It looks messy. It looks sloppy. I know, it's not pretty because of these palisades. But we're 1 hour and 53 minutes in. And guys, I kind of feel like Fatslob could steamroll red right now. And he should be able to know what red has. He's rewalling this, so he knows red can't be a threat for a little while. He has his berserks here. He's producing them. His population's going back up. He doesn't care about the vills. He's only at 44. Red has wood. Red has food. He's at 200 pop, but he has all the wrong units. He actually has a big variety, doesn't he? He has 130 vills, 44 arbalest, 10 berserk, 1 light cav, 8 onagers, 3 rams, and 3 trebs. The Fatslob's just 85 berserks, 26 champions, 15 scorpions, and 4 trebs. Just enough trebs to... Oh, how'd this happen? It's interesting. Just enough trebs to kill the castles when he gets in close, I guess. And the other thing is, I think red should have a general idea. Red is definitely having faith in the arbs. But, oh man, he sees the berserks now. He should know how many Fatslob has. He has too many vills, honestly. Like, killing Fatslob's villagers did him a favor. You can't win! You try and flank him and kill his economy, but it helps the guy. In a 200 population game, Fatslob doesn't need 100 vills. You just did him a favor. Fatslob needs to run in and kill Red's vills now. That'll make this a very even game. That's funny. I can't wait to see the resources collected later. Still, Fatslob has so many resources. Fatslob has 103 elite berserks. And it will end there because he's pop capped. I would like to see him queue up every single castle with units before he goes into a fight. I'll find the bird here as it passes over. That would not be the bird. Bear with me, please. There we go. There we go. The birds are flying over. This reminds me of those cameras that they have at sporting events now. You get the bird's eye view. Literally the bird's eye view. The hawk. That's what it looks like, bottom right. For whatever reason, the designated Gaia image is a horse. Well, they're missing all the good stuff right now. You pay all this money to the cable companies, and you're still missing all the action. It's unreal. That's why YouTube is winning out. Here we go. Oh. I guess we'll take Fatslob's point of view. Fatslob, he could see what's coming, and Red knows what Fatslob is going to do as well. There's no surprises here. Now, I want to compare the HP of all the units on this part of the screen real quick. I'll get Red's arbs. It'll include a few vills. 9,000 HP versus 2,700 HP before this fight. Thanks Capture H for making that possible. You could tell the game was lagging a bit for them. You see how slow it's beginning to run? It's definitely not on my end. That's just a recorded game. Fatslob, just wipe him, man. Red only has 69 military, nice. But Fatslob has 150. Just wipe him. Just patrol on in there. I can tell that Michelino or Michaelino, he'd be a very good Arabia player. He likes to flank and stuff and hit the eco, but that is not what Black Forest is about. Killing Fatslob's economy helps him here. And there goes Fatslob. He sends in some of his berserks immediately to the onagers. He should wipe them up. And, who even cares about this, man? Wow. Now, Fatslob's on the slower side sometimes. But this would be the time to send in the rest of his units. Might be dealing with these 2 berserks that Red somehow squeaked into his base. They were probably stranded somewhere, and Red ended up sending them in. Okay, there are the Trebs. So this is kind of what I was waiting for. If Fatslob sends the Trebs forward, he'll be able, well, unless he loses them, he'll be able to take down Red's castles. And I think that's got to be the key here. Red is sacrificing all of his berserks to kill the trebuchets. He kills a few, but he'll begin to lose buildings now. 150 population for Fatslob, but it's so skewed. The total population doesn't matter. The military number matters. So this number right here, okay, and there was the flicker, and I think it happened on my main screen as well. At least it's not too bad. That is just Michelinia's life flashing before his eyes, actually. 22 military versus 96. Fatslob's at 29 vills. That's such a pathetic number, but he booms so much, it doesn't matter. There's a time for eco and there's a time for war, and this is definitely the time for war. And just 1 castle remaining now. Oh, sorry, 2 castles remaining for Red. Oh, he's got that other one on the right, doesn't he? Yeah. He's got that one. He's not going to have this one. 2 hours and 2 minutes into the game, Red, he wanted to play the legend. He's seen the videos, he's seen the streams, he wanted to see what this is all about. He had a strategy. He tried to hit Fatslob's economy. He definitely did that. But I think the timing was too late. And the composition and the fighting just better from Fatslob. Fatslob's total pop is not great either. It's still below what Red has. Funny enough, Red's probably looking at his population and thinking, oh geez, I'm dead. I mean, I think he is dead. Because he can't deal with 100 military, but the population is super deceiving right now. Kind of funny. I think it's just a matter of time. For Red, he can continue to make some Arbalest. But we've seen how that works for him. The Berserks and the Scorpions and whatever else might be coming in seem to be better. Making skirmishers isn't going to help. It's not going to be enough to even try and match Fatslob with Berserks because Fatslob has the Scorpions behind and he has so many more. He has a total of 56 Berserks right now, guys. That's well over what Red's military population is. And he's trying. He just built more archer ranges. He's sending the Berserks over, so panic mode is definitely here. He probably thinks, oh geez, I've just lost this game. But he's going to try, because he still has gold in the bank. And how often do you get to play Fatslob, right? Also, if you invest 2 hours into a game, you don't want to quit here. You need to try. Try your best. I respect it. No one wants to see someone GG immediately when Fatslob fights them anyway. But the Berserks will kill any Arbalest he does have. I would expect that Fatslob will eventually move the rest of his units in, man. Look at these farms! This is what an idle farmer does. Oh! Wasn't expecting the farms to change that. That's how long they've been idle. Oh man. It's rained enough for the ground to no longer be dry. And now it's time for another farm. That's what it is, right there. You can't farm on dry land. That's why he was waiting. Come on, Fatslob. You can do it, man. 94 versus 30 military. Slow and steady, guys. Slow and steady. Honestly, just getting the relics now would be a big deal if Red wanted to continue this for a while. Reddy's trying to relocate his economy. It's just on Fatslob to finish off Red now. The pop's 129 to 129, but as I've said a few times, I think we know that that doesn't matter. Fatslob is also adding more villagers, I believe. Because wasn't he at, like... I forget what he was at. He's definitely on the lower side, and he has 19 idols. I might have just forgotten. And Red very kindly says, GG, well played, and taps out of this very long Fatslob game. He's still at it. In fact, at the time that I casted this, I didn't want to spoil, the guy has a 5-game winning streak. Doing the same old thing. Berserks, Scorpions, Trebuchets, Onagers. This is how Fatslob likes to play. And one of my longtime supporters gave it a shot and maybe knew what to expect. He just couldn't win. I like the light cav idea. I just don't think the timing on it worked out too well. In hindsight, I think Red probably had too many villagers. Maybe if he was able to get enough where he could make Berserks and army here, he could distract Fatslob and then push the center. Maybe that's got to be the play. That said, still well played from both. I think this is the first time that someone tried a redirect. Someone tried to distract Fatslob, and we saw it didn't matter whatsoever. Fatslob must experience that a lot, though, because he expected it. He walled it up a bunch of times. He's not fond of it. He never goes back through the hole that's cut. He just chooses the center every single time. So, guys, I have to tab out quickly so I can show you the achievements. You're going to see my main Twitch overlay screen. 1 second. Just bring up the achievements now. This should work for us. Alright, 746 units killed for Fatslob in that game, with the largest army being 153. Economically speaking, see, this is what's mind-blowing to me. Look at this. Red had 76,000 more food. He had 184,000 wood. He had less stone collected, because Fatslob had the extra stone. But then the gold difference is crazy to me. I think the relic gold probably paid off in a game like that. Yeah, that gave him 3,000 more gold. This tells me that Red probably just sold a lot of his food and wood to get the gold. But I think he sunk that gold into Arbalest and Onagers. And maybe he should have considered making something that had a little bit more, I don't know, of a longevity to it. Like the Berserks and the Scorpions. I think Fatslob maybe lost 5 Scorpions all game. I just didn't expect there to be that much of a difference. Holy crap. Total castles, we talked about that. Remember, Red ended up losing some throughout this game, which was another small mistake. And there's the timeline if you'd like to see that. Fatslob will continue to play Black Forest Vikings till the end of time. And I will continue to make Age of Empires 2 content for that same period of time. So I'm sure that we will have more Fatslob videos in the future. If you guys like this video, if you guys maybe want me to hunt down some different strategies that people have tried on Fatslob for the next episode, let me know. I really do appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Okay, I just noticed, if you look at the Twitch chat, Peletoop said, @ViciousMarauder, which is Dave. And you've heard him cast with me before. How is T90's mom called? What?